Hey everybody, I just want to do a quick video about visiting the small village of Yelapa. If you're in Puerto Vallarta, if you're in the area, I highly recommend it as a day trip. It's a cool little town. The easiest way to get there is to go to Boca Tomatlan. You don't have to take a taxi if you're on a budget. You can take the local bus from right downtown Puerto Vallarta, and it's like 8 pesos, and it'll take you down to Boca Tomatlan. So it's a pretty cheap day trip, and there's all kinds of boats that will take you down to Yelapa. It's about a 30-minute boat ride. There are the big boats that hold 40 or 50 people, and when you get to Boca Tomatlan, go down to the beach and just ask around, and you'll find a guy in one of the restaurants that'll sell you a ticket. 120 pesos each person return, so it's pretty cheap. And like I said, it's about a 30-minute boat ride, and that's the way I would do it. So when you go to Yelapa, if you want to explore the village, you might have to ask the driver to let you off at the Yelapa dock. There's 2 places where you can get off there. One of the docks services an area of restaurants that are right on the beach, and then the other dock takes you to the foot of Yelapa, and it's well worth it. There is restaurants in town, but it seemed like most of them were closed until 4 or 5 o'clock because most of the tourists go to the beach area. When you're there, there's no cars, lots of ATVs. I'll talk about that again later. But there's no cars, so it's a really interesting walking little village. And just ask around where the falls are, and somebody will point you. You can't get lost in this town. Ask where the falls are, and somebody will point you in the right direction. In about a 10-minute walk, you get to these falls that are pretty cool. And so that's what we did. That's what I recommend. On the way back, we needed to go to the restaurant area to catch the boat back, and we had to cross the river that separates the village of Yelapa from this tourist restaurant area. And I had looked at a map online the night before, and I was pretty confident. But once we started, we headed out of Yelapa. We headed out of Yelapa on the little trail road, and that's where we just started to discover that time of day. It seemed like there was ATVs everywhere. You were constantly stopping and letting the ATVs go by, and I guess they're ferrying tourists around. But as we started heading out, and we were on the other side of the river from where these restaurants are, I started second-guessing myself about the map that I'd seen online, because we'd seemed to walk quite a ways. So I also knew that we would be able to cross the river where it flows out of this lagoon. We found a way to get over to the river from the trail, and then we had to skirt around the lagoon, and I crossed the river, and it was a little sketchy. It was a little bit tough to cross. My gal and our friends, they actually waded across the lagoon. They found a place where it was just over their knees, and they waded across the lagoon. But I crossed where the river came out of the lagoon, and I had to be careful. It was a little bit sketchy, and I was told by a local that it was flowing faster than it normally does because they had just dredged it. They dredge it every once in a while to allow more water out of the lagoon. So it was a bit of an adventure. When you're in town, ask around for directions. I'm sure you'll be able to find somebody with speaking English. You'll probably find a gringo living there, and ask for directions on how to get back to the restaurant area by the beach. If you're in the Puerto Vallarta area, I highly recommend it for a day trip. It's really cool. And the restaurants we stopped, we ate at a restaurant on the beach, and we had a good lunch. It was a good meal, so check out Yelapa. Highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, and check out my other tropical destination videos. I've got a bunch of videos on Maui as well as the Puerto Vallarta area, the botanical gardens and other things like that. So check that stuff out. Cheers. Thanks for watching.